Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program 2, where we are currently angling to land up over here. Unfortunately, that is currently in the dark side of Minmus, and we would very much prefer not to land in the dark side of Minmus. So let's let that rotate on around. We're going to have to do an inclination change here for sure. This is basically a polar orbit, but at this height, that is absolutely fine. So we're just letting that come on over here, and at this point, that's reasonably decent. So I want to sometime around, well, I'm just thinking about how this is going to actually play out. We went from like here to here in that time, and that went from like here to here. So we are definitely rotating around Minmus slower than this is. In that case, I think our best bet would be to commence a burn sometime around, well, pretty close to where we are. And let's just bring this over. We're going to do some retrograde as well. And we're just going to bring this guy right on down, and I'm just wondering about the timing here. Yeah, it would be sometime around here or so. But even so, this is going to require some additional inclination change. That's okay. So we're going to commence this burn in about 21 minutes. That just goes to show how slow we're moving in orbit here. We're moving at 30 meters per second, I want to point out. This entire burn, all that change, 25 meters per second. That's not a lot. So that's absolutely fine. We're in position for this, and let's warp. So we're going to continue to warp a little bit further here. 30 seconds, 20, 10, and 3, 2, 1, mark. Cool. That's the entirety of the burn right there. That should put us basically where we want to be. Now, we're going to have to fall in over here, and we'll see where we end up being. So on this side, this is going to be 3 days, 2 hours, 5 minutes. Yeah. I want to fall into about here. So that's going to let us see where this ends up being when we get there. This is rotating quite quickly. So that is noted. Okay, it's coming around decently, I feel like. So let's just time warp this in a little bit more. Okay. At the periapsis here, I'm going to make another maneuver, and we are going to further change our inclination, not that way. We're going to further change our inclination out here. We're going to need to retrograde burn it as well, a fair amount, and have it be somewhere up here or so. That's a little overburnt at this point. So have it be about here. Now, this is going to rotate around this direction, right? So I want to undershoot it a little bit and have it be a bit more along the lines of this or so. We're probably going to have to make another adjustment to that as this rotates around, but that should be relatively close-ish. So let's align to that node. And this is only going to be another 81 meters per second. Minmus is so easy to move around in. It's absurd how easy it is to move around Minmus. So we're just going to position here, and let's warp on forward. Cool. We're approaching Minmus and lowering to 100x for safety. I guess that's fine. And we're going to bring this down a little further. 30 seconds, 20, 10, and 3, 2, 1, mark. Okay, so 81 meters per second to bring this on down. Excellent. This is looking about where we want it to be. There we go. That'll do. So next what we need to do is we need to find a time, and we're going this direction, right? That is correct. Okay, so we're going this direction. So we need to warp around to somewhere over here. And we might have to give this a couple orbits because this is on the dark side right now. If we have to give it a couple orbits, that's not a big deal. I would like this guy to be out over here when we make our landing attempt. So a few orbits is no problem, really. Now, we are in a bit of an elliptical orbit. That doesn't really matter. This is fine. So yeah, that didn't really move all that much. If we take this up to 100x warp, it's not going to move all that much. So what we need to do at this point is go back to the KSC. That's exactly what we're going to do. And from the KSC, we will be able to warp a little bit faster, so we can see when that's going to be. But we're no longer in such a long orbit that this is going to be weird. We just have to wait for it to line up at this point. So let's hop into the tracking station so we can see what's going on there. And let's focus on Minmus. And as we can see, we're currently flying over the site. That is, or over-ish. Actually, that's pretty over. But what we need to do right now is just warp on through and let this guy position a bit. Okay, like one more orbit, I feel like. Okay, so sometime around here. Now what we want to do is open up Minmus here. I want to control Moonlander 3. We're now in a pretty decent spot for this. I don't know why the engine fired briefly there, but whatever. It doesn't seem to actually have... it did change a little bit. That's fine, though. We're going to be landing right up over here, right? So what I want to do is I want to grab sometime around here or so. And let's change our inclination just a little bit to be flying pretty much directly over this guy. That's 23 meters per second, and let's align for that. It's going to be in about 20 minutes, and we'll see if we need to change that inclination at all, but that's just a slight correction for us. Okay, so we are virtually aligned right now. And let's warp. Okay. Yeah, this is going to need to be changed a little bit. I'm bringing us out of our warp because we don't need quite this much of an inclination change. It's going to be more like this as far as an inclination change goes, but I'm going to undershoot it ever so slightly. So about there. Slight alteration, but that is due to the rotation of Minmus underneath us. Yeah, I don't think we even need quite this much of a change. Okay, let's just commence this burn now and put it about here. Cool. Next, what I want to do is create a maneuver plan about here, and this is going to be a retrograde burn, bringing us in slightly past this point. Looks good. Let's align for that burn. I also want to check in on our fuel resources here. So let's check in on the resource manager here. And I want this tank, I want all of these tanks in the transfer. This guy would be in, and we're going to start that. Okay, I just want to make sure that this is remaining full. So that's good for now. We're going to want to keep these for our landing, of course. But we're going to want to start this burn in about 3 minutes. Let's warp forward a little bit here. And we can see that's our target site right there. So that has rotated underneath us a little bit here. We're going to want to make a small correction to that, I'm sure. This feels kind of weird with us at the pole here. Oh, that feels really weird. Okay. We're going to warp forward a little bit further here. Okay. We should be burning about now. And we're going to get rid of a lot of that speed. We're probably going to need to head out this direction a little bit more. And we can certainly do that. Okay, so we're just going to be putting this, for now, about here. There we go. And I do want to head this direction a little bit. When is this impact going to be at, though? About 5 minutes to impact? Okay, that looks reasonably fine. So I want to head out this direction a little bit. Is that this way? Yes, that appears to be the case. Not much, just a smidgen here. About there. Cool. We're going to take this over to surface retrograde. And sometime around here, we're going to want to commence a braking burn, which is going to be something about like that-ish. But as you can see, that creates some weirdness. That's okay. So I'm just using this as a timer more than anything, and that is reasonably fine. That's about 100 meters per second. Yeah, that's not too bad. Okay, so let's just warp on forward towards that a bit. We can see we're going off to the side a smidgen here. That's fine. And we want this to be in retrograde. Oh, we're still warping. Okay, that's because we're so close. Gotcha. We should extend our landing legs, for sure. And I want to be in ground altitude here. Yeah, we can see we're a little off here. That is reasonably fine. There's definitely something there. No doubt about that. So we've got about 10 seconds until this burn. I'm just keeping an eye on our positioning here. We're going to want to go a little this way, most likely. 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay. So we're just getting our surface velocity significantly down here. I'm going to put us in stability control. And we're just watching this marker at this point. Okay, that's reasonably decent. So we're going mostly straight down right now. There's still a little bit of horizontal velocity here, and that looks reasonably fine. The straight down direction is here. Okay, let's put this in stability assist for right now. I want to go this direction ever so slightly. So we're going to put it about here. And I'm just pushing that node a little bit. Okay. Now we'll bring this over. We don't need this burn timer at this juncture. And I want to check that directionality. So in theory, we're going this way, but we're going to get pulled downward quite a lot. I feel like that's decent. Okay, let's warp forward a little bit. I'm keeping an eye on our altitude. 4x is all the more we can warp at this point. Yeah, this is looking decent. Okay, we're 3 kilometers up right now, and I'm going to pull us back out of time warp at this point. We can see we're heading pretty considerably down at this juncture. This is a pretty good trajectory to be going, all things considered. We're moving at about 50 meters per second, and we're 2.5-ish kilometers up. For the time being, this seems fine. This is a very steep crater, though. Okay. We're going to be continuing to accelerate here. We, of course, want to begin a braking burn, and I'm going to do that at about 1 kilometer. This shouldn't be too much of a braking burn, to be honest. 1.3. 1.2, 1.1. This is getting very dark over here. This is in shadow. Okay, that is noted. I'm going to commence our braking burn. I don't actually want to be in this shadow, so we're going to bring this down to a halt. We're actually going to start going up a little bit. We're going to go out over here. Okay, so we're starting to go up just a smidge. That's fine. And I want to head this direction and get us a little bit of speed out this way. Now I'm going to put us on retrograde. But of course we need to flip this around, right? Our apoapsis is 5 kilometers. So I don't actually want to be... Let's actually point this down. We've overshot this a little bit. So let's bring that apoapsis down a bit. Cool. That looks better. And then let's flip this guy over. Perfect. So we're about 500 meters away from this monument right now. I just want to land in the light. I don't want to land in the dark. So that is okay. We're only about 800 meters up right now. That wasn't too bad. We've still got 3 kilometers per second in this thing, by the way. It's a lot. No doubt about that. Now, we could absolutely head off over this way, and maybe we should if I can find the correct directionality for that. Looks like it would be out this way a bit. And then, like, this direction. Okay, we can do that. And we'll just bring this around to retrograde. Yeah, this seems about right. Okay, I'm going to put us in kill rot, and we're going to do a small deceleration here. This is mostly about killing our horizontal speed at this point. There we go, that'll do. And we're moving at 4 meters per second. That's not very speedy, of course. Cool. So let's just gently drop this right on down. About 10 meters per second right now. We should begin a gentle deceleration. We're about 220 meters up right now. But this looks absolutely fine. No issue at all here, I think. We're decelerating maybe a little faster than we need to. We are very, very slightly burning right now. Let's bring that up to about 13% thrust. And we're only a few meters off the ground at this point. So, kicking up Regulus at this point, 2 meters per second. 0.9 meters per second. We're a little over-accelerated, so I'm letting this speed up just a smidge. 1 meter per second, and we'll start a deceleration again now. 0.5 meter per second. So little over-accelerated again. Too much deceleration. 0.5 meter per second. Looks good. So we have successfully landed on Minmus, and we've landed on Minmus right by the monument. That is perfect. Let's hop over to mission control here real quick, because that did say that we satisfied something. Okay, so we got this. Sure, we'll submit this. That's 750 science. Welcome back, Director. Another successful mission in the record books. And what a monument you found. The figure looks a little like a Kerbal, but what's with the squid mouth? How does this relate to the Kerbaler system? Luckily, we've already decoded the message. They found a rhythm, thanks in no small part to the jazz instructor. You'll need a translator to thank her, though. She only speaks in jazz hands. The message says, bear witness to her brow, where two entwine through gravity. Bear witness to her influence, which saved us from calamity. 6 times the heavens circled, once freed we did not stay. Bear witness to the goddess, Kerbina lights the way. Crazy that the translation rhymes somehow, right? Regardless, we were hoping for something more like, hey, here are our coordinates. We decided to contact the Kerbal Astronomical Society and the Institute of Old Stuff to research this Kerbina figure. I mean, it's Kerbin with an A, so it has to mean something. 6 crystal spheres and a giant crown? I'm stumped. First, we find a huge arch, and now we've found a whole arena. Whoever made these things must have been some serious builders. Hey, I kind of like that name, and until we figure out their real names, I'm going to call them builders. Sorry to rush you, but you've got to go. The ribbon cutting for the new pavement under Launchpad 3 is starting, and you're clear across campus. This is a big day for Tarmac Henry, so you can't be late. Here, sip my coffee. It's not teleportation, but I promise you it'll get you there quicker. Okay, cool. So we found something that didn't really tell us all that much, but there's now a monument on Duna to head for, and are there fuel stations? Orbit Kerbin with a X200 fuel tank and a docking port? Sure. We can do that at the same time as the geostationary orbit, in theory. So these two could be done simultaneously. No problem there. We're not going to be going to Duna for a little bit, for sure. We need to head back to our vehicle at this point. So let's hop to the tracking station, and let's just head right on over. I'm not pressing any mouse buttons. Okay, that's exciting. Well, we're going to hop over to Minmus, where our Moonlander 3 is currently landed, and we need Jeb to do some work here. So Jeb, I'm going to need you to EVA, bud. And he's just going to hop right on down. We're going to run the surface survey. That's going to take 10 seconds. And then we're going to run the crew observation. We're going to head over to the... Actually, we're in the monument location, so we don't actually need to do anything there. We might actually want to head away from the monument, just to try to get additional data. Okay, so there's all of that data. That is fine. I want to grab on here. We're going to hop back in and store that data here. I want to make sure that we've run the environment survey. Okay, presumably that's in there. And we're going to have Jeb EVA. Let's head out over this direction. Come on, Jeb. Okay, we're going to head out over this way and look to be in a location. This is in low orbit Minmus here. Okay, if we land here, is this still considered monument? Okay, this is Minmus craters. Perfect. So we're going to run the surface survey and our crew observation as soon as that's done. Moonlander 3 on crashing trajectory. Okay. I don't know that Jeb counts as Moonlander 3, and I don't know that that counts as a crash, but whatever. That seems fine. So we're just going to get this data, and then we're going to head back nice and quick here. Cool. So I don't think there's anything else really for Jeb to do here other than, you know, run around and grab every biome. But to be honest, I don't feel like we need the amount of science that's available. That was the case in KSP1 as well. It's just there's way more science available than you actually need. So we're just going to prioritize getting things done reasonably quickly here. And that sounds good. Okay, so we've got all of these research reports available here, and we are, I believe, ready to just head home. So that sounds fine. Let's double check our resources here real quick. So obviously, these can certainly be transferred in here. So this guy we want in, and we can start. Okay, so we're about half fuel on these guys. That's fine. Let's get out of here. So this is our 90-degree marker here. Looks good. Cool. Just going to burn here until we're at an apoapsis of somewhere relatively safe. Sure, 8 kilometers sounds good. And we're going to head into a prograde orbit here. So just parking right about at this horizon. Hopefully we clear this crater wall before we impact it. That would be awkward if we didn't. But I think we should. Okay, so apoapsis of 20 kilometers is good enough. Minmus has such low gravity. It's so nice to work in. So our apoapsis is currently here, and we're going to create a maneuver node. Now, we're currently in a kind of wild inclination. This is not exactly an equatorial inclination, but that's okay. And we probably will have to fix our inclination. We'll see what that ends up looking like, though. Okay, so this is going to be about 6 minutes to reach the apoapsis. We can warp on forward as soon as we're in position here. There we go. Cool. We are warping. Not very quickly, of course. This is only 4x at this altitude. But we should go up faster, or rather high enough to go to a much faster warp fairly soon. We're currently at a sea level altitude of 13. Okay. Yeah, that's going to take a little bit. No doubt about that. Sea level altitude of 15 kilometers, and now we're able to warp. Perfect. 50x time warp is much better than 4x. No doubt about that. We are currently 20 seconds away from this burn, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Okay, let's get ourselves into orbit. Very, very small amounts of DV needed for this. Okay, we overshot it slightly. That's okay. Does not matter. So, do we need an inclination change here? So, Kerbin is out this direction, right? So, in theory, it would be something like here, but it's probably not going to work all that well. Let's see how this goes. So, this would be our current return trajectory. Yeah, that's definitely not ideal. We might need to toss in some radial here. Actually, a radial burn is largely doing what we want it to do. That seems reasonably fine, but we're probably going to need some inclination change thrown in there too. This is a fairly complex burn. And then from there, some additional retrograde. Yeah, this will do the trick. No doubt about it. I want to angle, we still don't have a heat shield on this thing, so I want to angle for somewhere around 50 kilometers. We're going to do a re-entry burn. We've got lots and lots of fuel. There's only 384 meters per second to do this frankly crazy return burn, and that seems fine. So we'll align for this absolutely absurd thing. And the burn will be in about 37 minutes. That's okay. We are aligned as of now-ish. So we're not going to need to do any detachment of this because, I mean, Minmus, we have all the fuel we need. And we can use these as a heat shield, so that's fine. There's Kerbin. That is, of course, where we are going. And our burn is going to be in about 15 more minutes. This is absolutely a wild direction to be burning, but okay, we'll take it. So 45 seconds here. Kerbin is, I think, completely invisible right now. Oh no, there it is. So we're going there, and we're burning there to do it. That actually isn't that absurd, now that I look at it. That makes sense to me. Okay, so 20, 10, and 3, 2, 1, mark. So this is going to be about a 1-minute burn. That's fine. That will return us home. Technically, our periapsis is negative at this point, but we're going up, so it doesn't matter. This is definitely a really, really odd way to burn, but we'll take it. Cool. So about 40 seconds of burn time here. Are we able to burn and physics warp at the same time? Apparently, yes. Okay, so that's a 2x warp. That's a 4x warp. That seems good. Okay, we're bringing it back on down. We're now at 1x. This should be pretty close. Let's see how we're doing. So our Kerbin periapsis here is 47 kilometers. That's actually fine. We are A-okay with that. So next up, we are going to want to focus Kerbin, and at this periapsis, which is currently having some difficulties with its resolution, we are... that's very exciting. Actually, we should... 16 days. 2 days. So we're going this way. Okay. We're going to warp around here. We're going to exit Minmus. Okay, I don't actually want to be focusing this guy. That's horrid. Stop it. Please stop. Okay. So here we are at Kerbin, and we should be able to get this maneuver done better now that we've actually exited. So we're still having some resolution issues here. Okay. Not sure why that's happening, but it doesn't really matter. We're coming in this direction. So we're going to time warp to this point, and in we drop. Now, this is going to be quite a lot of velocity. We're coming in retrograde here. So you can see our surface velocity is quite high. We're going to be at surface retrograde. Well, this actually isn't that bad of surface velocity, now that I look at it. And we're going to commence our burn here the moment we touch atmosphere. So we're just going to continue to drop down. We're going to gain quite a lot of speed as we come in. And we absolutely want to commence this burn immediately. But we have 2,300 meters per second here. So that's a lot of speed. That also means we have a lot of fuel left over, and this is going to be considerably heavier than we're used to. So that is noted. We are in Atmo right now, and I'm commencing our burn. We want to slow down as much as possible here. We're going fast. We're going really fast at this point. So we're slowing down a lot, but we need to slow down a lot more. We're at 45 kilometers right now, and we can see that apoapsis really dropping off. So we've bled off about 500 meters per second already. We've got some pretty spicy looking heat gauges here. No doubt about that. But we are slowing down precipitously, and we're only at 42 kilometers right now. So that looks good. Periapsis is currently negative, and we're down below orbital velocity at this point. So things do look okay. That was a spicy reentry, but I think we're fine. I want to continue to burn off fuel here because I'm a little concerned about our mass. We'll keep a little bit of burn time left here. Okay, I want to see our overall burn time. We've got about 1 minute of burn time. Yeah, we're moving pretty slowly at this point. I want to move this stage up, so really I want to move this stage down. Okay, this isn't actually moving down. Cool. Yeah, we're flipping around. That's expected at this point. Can you please move? Apparently not. Okay, we can do this, and then this. Cool. Drogues are not deploying right now. Let's deploy our main. I don't know why the drogues are refusing to deploy at this moment, but let's deploy this drogue. And then get this one. Where are you? Come here, you. I want you to deploy. Deploy. There we go. I don't know why they weren't deploying through this manager here, but we should definitely untime warp here. How high up are we currently? Okay, like 100 meters? Okay. 12.5 meters per second, and landing legs are deployed. I'm going to commence a landing burn here. We kept a little fuel specifically for this. So we're just slowing this guy right on down. Okay. Yep, that was definitely a little on the spicy side. We are certainly sliding at this point, which isn't necessarily shocking. Can we recover the vessel in this state? I don't know, and I don't know that we want to, because I want to run this environment survey here, and I want Jeb to get out and grab the stuff here, right? So the chutes are definitely slowing us down on this slide. We're moving at about 1.4, 1.5 meters per second. Yeah, we're hitting the steeper portion here, but it's going to level out down here. So that looks reasonably fine. We're just cruising right on through these trees. It's a little dark here, no doubt about that. But we're about to get into more level terrain where, in theory, our friction should stop this slide. Down to 1 meter per second, 1.2. But we should stop here pretty soon. The chutes are definitely making this a lot less likely, although that's some odd physics there for sure. It's okay. So we're now at 0.4 meters per second. Okay. And the active vessel is now recoverable. Cool. I want Jeb to EVA. Apparently we are sliding again at a pretty decent clip, but I want Jeb to run his surface survey. There we go. Now we came to a halt. We'll grab our crew observation as well. Okay. So get that all done, Jeb. Get your observation completed, and we're going to hop back in and recover this. Excellent. So back in we go, and we are going to recover. Perfect. Back to the KSC we go. So that is all absolutely fine. We currently have 1491 science to spend and another mission to plan. It's probably going to be that refueling station that they want us to put up, most likely. But it is past time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we'll see what mission we want to tackle next. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings. And a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Atala, Ali Lee, Dark Horse, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.